G'day, Stu here, and a little while ago I told you that the Lightning V2 was the best drone in FPV history. So when wallefpv reached out and said, hey, would you like to try the V3? I was absolutely pumped, but then these two things happened. Did they make it even better, or did they mess with perfection? Let's find out. Now, a quick recap for those who don't know. The Lightning V2 is my all-time favorite drone. I absolutely love it. It is my #1 recommendation to people getting into the hobby of, hey, Stu, which one should I get? It is a fun, fast, quick, park, little nimble ripper that is an absolute joy to fly. I do all my testing in that. That's what I race with my friends. I have done more flights and had more fun with the Lightning V2 than any other drone that I own. So when it comes to releasing a V3, that standard that the V3 has to beat is insanely high. We're going to go through, have a summer look at the specs, and then also we're going to go out and fly it and show you exactly what I loved and what really I felt could be different. So if a bit of a comparison here, on the right, this is the Lightning V2, my all-time favorite drone. And you can see when it comes to the V3, it is a little bit bigger. The footprint is a little bit bigger. It is still using the same size props. We've got our little all-in-one in the middle, and depending on which version you want to get, this has like basically every single version that there is. You can get like HD0, DJI, we've got some with the ArtLink system. Are you going to be using walksnail? Do you want to fly around with analog? And those choices actually do matter because your experience when you are flying around, yes, it's a different FPV system, but I got drastically different results, which is kind of surprising. Some of the additions to the V3, which I do really like on my V2, I installed my own LED because I thought, hey, this is what I want. I love this craft so much. I customized it for me. We now actually have that officially on the V3. Better camera protection. We've got an antenna mount at the back, and that also goes for our FPV antenna as well. In this one, it just was sort of slapped together, but it worked. And then on this version, on the V3, it looks like they've done a more official approach, I would say, or it's been designed with this from the get-go. And I should say as well, like these frames, if you have a look at the design history, this is actually an old V1 that I have. I've flown this thing to death as well. You can see we're getting bigger over time, and you've got more space for some other components that you want to put in here. Now, before we go and rip it around, the big question, like Stu, how much does it cost? It's costing between $200 and $350, $360, depending on which version you're going to get. Are you getting like any VTXs included? Are you going to have the DJI stuff in the top? So there is a huge price range with a lot of things in there, but something that is very, very important to note is a frame costs $15. The base plate of this frame is $15. And you might be saying, hey, Stu, why are you telling me that and specifying into that? Is that a little bit of foreshadowing? Well, that's what we're about to find out right now. Now we're jumping off, and it's important to say right now, what you are seeing is the walksnail avatar version, because you wait to see the DJI version, the analog version, and some others. But here we are flying around, and straight off the bat, I knew with this flight, it has so much power. Like that is typical of the Lightning V3. So what you can see right here, I was like, man, I need to adjust the camera because this thing had so much more to give. I needed to up tilt that camera. And then here it is. I brought it in. I did a quick land and I thought, let's take off again. And I have pushed the camera pretty far up when it comes to this one, so much so that you can actually see the top of the frame right here in the shot. So that's what that is. If you put it to extreme angles on the walksnail avatar version, you're going to notice this. But I was happy with that trade-off because when you see how much speed this thing has, just how much it rips around, it feels great in the air. This is exactly what I love about the Lightning V2. And the Lightning V3 is pretty similar. It feels fast. It feels snappy. It feels like you are ripping around, not quite a full 5-inch, but for a tiny little craft like this, it is very easy to forget that, man, this is only some little 2-inch propellers. So here I am ripping around the house, having an awesome time. The battery life was a little bit shorter than I was hoping for. This one I think is on a 720 milliamp hour battery as well. And the beauty about this one, you can fly it anywhere. This is my favorite thing about this. The batteries are cheap. The craft itself has a relatively cheap frame. That's important. And also, when you are cruising around with this, it doesn't matter if you're in a big park, if you have a large yard, like I'm fortunate enough to have, you can fly this virtually anywhere and get the sort of FPV experience that I want. You can shoot gaps, rip around, and just have an amazing time, especially if you're going to race your friends and stuff. That's what I loved about the Lightning V2 as well, like getting together with stickmates, if just flying this thing for fun. That's what I really want to stress, and that's what I loved about the Lightning V2, that you can just rip this anywhere, have an awesome time. But let me show you what happens when we jump over and we have a look at some of the other versions. Now, this is a DJI flight right here. And do you see that wobble, that little bit of jello? It's not oscillations. This is something to do with like shutter speed or frame rate. And there is like a perfect resonance between the frame and the actual camera hardware or whatever it's doing right here if you're a DJI O4 Lite user. So, unfortunately, normally, I love flying around my Lightning V2 with the DJI in here. It is my favorite quad that I will fly for fun. But when it comes to this one, you're going to get a bit of oscillation, a bit of that, I don't know what to call it besides some wavy jelly, I believe is the technical term that everybody uses here. So cruising around here, I was like, man, what is different? And then I remembered I had to retrofit my old Lightning V2 with just, instead of like a fancy mount, I just encased it in foam and jammed it in there with some hot glue. So that's exactly what you're going to see right now. And this is the video titled New Mount. And you can see right here, there's no fanciness right here. I've just simply got some foam and I have glued it in. And I'm happy to say that the jello is significantly diminished. You're still going to get a few little vibrations and oscillations. But if you're the sort of user that loves DJI and you want to fly around in a little craft like this, do not use the mount that it currently has. You're going to need to get out the hot glue gun and put in a tiny little bit of extra work. There's also the option to put in the O4 Pro, which is an entirely different beast. If you want to do a bit of a mod right here, I can link that in the description as well. But all in all, if you're a DJI user, you're going to need to do something with the old Air unit. And it's also wild because since releasing this, there is also a new DJI wide angle light camera as well. I don't know how that's going to go, but here's the big one. What about if you're an analog flyer? Do you have any of those issues? And surely nothing's going to go wrong, right? Surely we're going to reach the pinnacle of drone perfection. The analog, and this is probably the version you will get to have the best flight performance. It's going to be the fastest, the lightest, the least amount of latency, ready to rock and roll. And you can see we're going to do a little punch out in just a second. Here we go. Oh, that's looking pretty good. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what's happening. I'm tumbling to the ground. And I think this is where you're going to see the frame's durability and like throwing props and those sorts of things. So let me show you the aftermath of this fall. Yes, this tree that you can see was pretty high, but have a look what the frame is like. It was a quick 30 seconds and, you know, kind of fun while it lasted. I think we threw a prop. We broke the frame. Now here's the frame in a bit more detail, and look, I did throw a prop here. I should say I didn't have any issues with these gem fan props. It was just the HQ props. I think I'm getting those around the right way. If there isn't, check the description for which prop I actually did throw. This happens to a lot of quads. I'm not really saying that this is a problem with this drone, but right here, you can see we landed. And yeah, it was a pretty big fall and I thought nothing of it. But then when I had a bit of a closer look, we've actually delaminated this little arm right here. You can see I can sort of bend it back to a straight position. This is now broken. That means that on one of my first analog flights, I crashed onto grass. Yes, it might have been 15, 20 meters high. It was a pretty high fall, but I've broken my frame. That kind of sucks. And I need to say, this is where my job as a reviewer is to provide information, but also some context, the pros and the cons. This could have happened to almost any frame. Any single person who can make a definitive decision to say this is a bad frame, this is a good frame, off one flight, they do not have enough data to make that call. I'm going to say what happened in my flight, I may have just gotten unlucky. All frames can break. However, I do think that because the arms are spaced out a little bit larger than on the V1 and the V2, there's going to be more torque that is placed on this frame. But interestingly, it was actually right at the motor mount where that broke. But on the plus side, I have to say, a frame, it's $15. So the replacement fee for a frame is not astronomical. You just need to weigh that up. Say, hey, when I'm buying this, will it be worth getting a second frame? And are you sort of the person that crashes a lot? Like if this was over concrete, it would definitely be a different story. I have flown a lot of quads. I have broken a lot of frames. I think this might have been one of those situations where I got extremely unlucky. Like if we look at the propeller here, it is absolutely smashed as well. So it takes a lot of force to bend these sorts of plastic props like they are in this crash. Is that the reviewer's curse? And I don't know the actual answer to that. I'm just giving you what happened in my flights. Please let me know. Is this a reflection on the frame? Did we get unlucky? Should it be able to survive that? All those sorts of things. Was it just a bad landing in that one specific situation? Just standing up here because my back's getting a bit sore, an old man stew. But I should say right now, if you want to get the Lightning V3, I do not think it's a bad drone by any means. I absolutely love the Lightning V2. It is still my all-time favorite drone. The V3, it flies really well. You're going to need to do some mods if you want to jump in and you're looking at the DJI sort of option. Maybe I got unlucky with those crashes. I like how it's only $15. It really comes down to what do you want from your FPV craft. If you're looking to jump in, I would have absolutely loved the Lightning V3 if I was starting this hobby. I think the beauty about it is you can fly it anywhere. It is insane amounts of fun, and the batteries and the replacements are really, really cheap as well. So it's not going to be expensive to have an incredible FPV experience. And look, look, I want to make it really clear too, this isn't a hit piece on wallefpv and their FPV drones that they make. I absolutely love the work that they do. The design documents and the amount of work that they put in here is second to none. I believe they are one of the best companies when it comes to developing incredible craft that we want to fly. And I hope if they are watching this video, I'm sure that they will watch this video, they understand that I love this craft as much as you do. I love the Lightning series as much as you do. I want it to succeed. And hey, maybe are my expectations too high? Am I setting the bar too high when we've already got that perfect drone? And then finally, I've got two things. Number one, if you're a viewer, thanks so much for watching this. Go check out DIY-FPV. We've just released an incredible part builder, which I'm challenging you is going to change and blow your mind. If you open that up and you're like, Stu, this sucks, I will try and eat this microphone. It is absolutely incredible. And number two, to the guys over at the wallefpv team, I love the Lightning V3, and I think that together we can take it and make it even better. Anyway, go check out DIY-FPV, and I challenge you. I'll eat the microphone, maybe.